Have you ever had this thing where you wake up, early in the morning when nobody else is awake and you start pondering possibilities? Where you start pondering like, okay, and some of those possibilities are about what you need to change in your life and that sort of thing. But then some of them start to expand into how it really could be. And you think you're dreaming, but you get the sense that it could actually be real. What I'd like to invite you to is the possibility that if we choose it, living that way could actually be real.
You've been manipulated into believing that there is some other version of you that is better, more lovable. That there's some other version of you that's able to produce in a more effective way. And notice I used the word manipulation. It wasn't by accident. You have been convinced fundamentally that you as you are the problem. Well, while the world convinces you of that, I'm here to tell you that you as you are is the solution. That you as you are is the solution. Because every single one of you in this room represents an infinite potential and a possibility that I can't even quantify in words.
A good book is only ever a book that you're reading at the right moment. And the right moment is going to be a bizarre confluence of needs and also a readiness to grow in a certain direction. I mean, there are moments in our life where somebody will tell you something and you're, in inverted commas, not ready to hear it. In other words, the idea, though correct, may be so threatening and so potentially destructive to the way in which you've ordered your life at that time that you are not ready to take it on board, even though maybe 10 years later you've grown more solid in areas and you can take it on board. A lot of good ideas are both good but also anxiety provoking. In other words, if we were really to listen to them and take them in deep, we'd have to change things about our lives. Maybe we'd need to get out of a relationship or into a relationship, change jobs, change our likes and dislikes. And sometimes we're not ready to make those intellectual kind of transitions. And so we need to block our ears.
And I think the way people look at the world right now, because it's such an incredible time, is actually the quickest tell to who they are. If you think it sucks or it's bad, you have losing pessimistic DNA. And if you think it's awesome and phenomenal, you have optimistic winning DNA. And I believe that to be true.
All it takes is somebody wanting to take a step. And there are certain things that a lot of people in this world are sitting there thinking in their minds and they're just not gonna do. Like, I used to always try to pull a lot of people and be like, you can do this, you can do this. But the people that hear that motivation over and over again, sometimes they take that step. Some people just have it in them. Early, it just starts, and they just get in the muscle memory of just doing things. And if you fail, so what? You start over, you do it again. But most people, that fear of failure is the thing that I think prevents them from like really being successful. And then also, it's like a lot of other things that are just difficult to do. When you tell people the answer to success, it's a lot of hard stuff. You got to work hard, right? Nobody wants to hear that. Everybody wants a shortcut, Some people understand that. They appreciate the progress, If you tell people right now, hey, if you want to lose this many pounds, this is what you got to do. There's no short solution.
Lessons are what they are. You learn from them. And so I don't have a bad life because I had that experience. I have a great life because I had the experience. But you learn from your experiences. And that's what a lot of people don't do. They complain about it, but they don't want to learn from it. And that's a stubbornness that they have to stop.
There was a moment where you first felt like you weren't enough. And from that moment, you have been trying to prove through every single action that you are. Do you understand this? You've been trying to prove through every single action that you are. Do you get this? Okay, that's what your whole life has been about. That's what your whole life has been. That's why anxiety and depression is at an all-time high. And that's why suicide is upticking at a rate that's just startling. People just don't know any other way other than to end their lives. Well, how about we don't end our life? How about we just end our suffering? How about we just end our suffering? How about we find a way to finally be at peace in who we are, so we're not anxious about a future that has yet to come into existence? How about that? And how about we finally have the courage to relax into the love that we are, the abundance that we are, the health and well-being that we are, the totality of the truth that we are, so that we no longer have to wrestle with this thing called depression.
I say get out of any environment that's negative to your potential dreams. You know, and I tell people that because I'm gonna tell you something. A parent could be negative. Your kids could be negative. Your wife or girlfriend, your partner could be negative. Your minister could be negative. Because you have to realize that a lot of people can't understand your vision. Means they're not going to give you advice. They're going to hold you back. They're going to set points of doubt in your mind. And that's important for you to understand, that is that so many people right now are being held back by people who say they love them. If you want to achieve success, everybody around you have to accept the responsibility of the success that you're trying to achieve. If they don't believe in it, you'll never win with that person. So you have to surround yourself with people who think like you, walk like you, talk like you, eat like you. But you got to have people who believe in your thought process, your dreams, your work ethic. Otherwise, you will not win.
You know, we, in our culture, we speak so highly of thinking. We're always saying, like, thinking is good, reading is good, taking on ideas is good. Yes, but sometimes we're not ready for it because we're scared. You know, intellectual laziness is fear. There's no such thing as laziness, it's just fear. You're afraid that some things you might hit upon might open doors through which you are not keen to walk at that time. And so when people, you know, sometimes they're in a mood when all they can do is check Twitter and look out of the window and not focus in on themselves in any way, and they need to be distracted. It's frequently because there's an insight that they are resisting. And I think we can be generous towards that need to resist it. Like, maybe that insight is too big. They can't think about it.
What if you could engage fully with all of reality and realize that part of the gift that you are is to take this reality that we have that's like this thing that everybody aligns and agrees with, that everybody's decided is real, and that our job and our possibility and our capacity is to make it more like this.
You're gonna only be so pretty. You're only gonna be so smart. There's things that are gonna be natural, and then there's things that you can actually control. I do believe, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong, I don't, but I do believe that work ethic is a taught behavior. It's something you do have more control over. You know, I worked every Saturday of my 20s. And I talk to 20-year-old entrepreneurs every single day. Lately, I've been saying to them, this Saturday, you're gonna have more time off than I've had in my entire 20s on a Saturday. So before you tell me how you're gonna be bigger than me, start thinking about what you're actually doing.
You know, when you're chiseling on a rock, you know, you could chisel for a long time, and you could chisel 100 times, 200 times, 300 times, and it won't break. And then when you get to 5,000 times, it finally breaks. But all the work that you did is what made it break.
And that's the key right there, because people allow other people's limitation and vision to be introduced into their dreams will alter the course. That negative message to creep into your dream, it will slow it down or it can alter the direction. That's why people are sitting at home, not happy, working in jobs, they're not happy. And then guess what? They take that negative spirit that affects them physically. And guess what? Eventually can lead to, guess what? A disappointing life, physically and mentally.
You know, one way of looking at unhappiness is people who are in one way or another in a tunnel. They say, the only way to live is this way. They're not happy with it, but it seems the only way. I've got to love this person, though it's not making me happy. I've got to do this job, though it's a prison. I've got to live in this place, though I don't like it. And, you know, we can unpick some of those things and say, really, is that absolutely necessary? Human beings are brilliant at building themselves cages and throwing away the key.
Definition for consciousness is where everything and everyone exists and no one and nothing is judged. But then you look and you go, yeah, but if I don't judge this, how am I going to change it? You know how you're going to change it? From not judging it and asking a question like, what else is possible here? What can I be? What can I choose? What can I do? What can I create that actually creates a different possibility here?
So how do we move forward? By doing the opposite of what everyone is telling you need to do. How do we find peace? Stop trying to find peace. Be happy with what you have. Be at peace with what you have, because at that point you'll never be deluded, you'll never be manipulated, and you'll never be moved out of your power center, your core, who you are. And that's my deepest wish for you, because the truth cannot be understood. It can only be experienced. And who you are cannot be quantified. Who you are cannot be measured. Who you are cannot be put in a box. You're not a metric. You're a person. You're human. You're alive, and you matter.